My dad told me when I was about 11 or 12 years old that you would come to the US. He submitted the paper. It took us about 10 years. I had 3 jobs, and I was studying as well. I wanted to work in Wall Street.
You always knew that as a kid?
Yes, I like money. I had one client that was making $1 million for the firm, passed me the relationship $500,000. Well, one of my biggest traders, he made a huge mistake and he lost a lot of money, and I lose all my business. My former colleague told me, Fernando, we only need $1 million to open a brokerage in London. The only downside was I couldn't work for any financial firm while we were waiting. I was getting offers to run a lot of firms and I have to refuse them. That moment, while I was doing nothing, my wife told me, why don't we open a gym in the meantime so we don't get bored? Challenges, I see them as a way of life. So everything can happen, and I'm ready. I think I'm equipped for whatever happens.
How did you deal with COVID with the gym?
They have to negotiate with you. Oh yeah, but this guy is gonna sue me, this guy is gonna... Don't worry, the courts are closed. They cannot sue you. That was a moment of realization. Like, I saw the guy, I couldn't get out. I thought I was dying.
What did you do to be in business for this long? Or something that a business owner can be doing in order to set themselves up for success the way you did?
I'm gonna tell you this.
This week's guest is a very successful business owner in Brickell, Miami. He has one of the longest standing kickboxing gyms in our area. I knew of Fernando and I knew how loved and respected he was in our community, but I really didn't truly understand why until I had the opportunity of sitting down and speaking with him. Very driven, very motivated, was working on Wall Street, knew he always wanted to be on Wall Street, knew that he wanted to be financially successful. And when he did attain that, he realized fairly quickly after going deep into the finance world, it just wasn't for him when it became a little bit too transactional. This led Fernando to pivot, where his wife had the idea of opening up a gym. And at this point, they come to Miami and open up CKO Kickboxing in Brickell. It was like his second awakening, where he realized that he loved helping people. He loved helping people feel good about themselves. He liked connecting with people. He found a new passion and a new love and a new goal in life. Fernando definitely touches lives in our community in a very positive way. I hope you guys enjoy this show. We're just going to get right into it.
Go.
What does CKO mean to you beyond it just being a gym?
It's a lifestyle. For me, it's a lifestyle. So as soon as I left my 9-to-5 job, I did this as a side job for my wife and I. Mm-hmm. So we needed a place to work out. We used to go to CKO in Brooklyn when we used to live there. And we needed the same space. So a place where, as a couple, we could work out, have fun, and then do it. So we have a routine. Every Saturday we had that morning class together, and we felt like we did something useful.
That was in New York?
That was in New York.
Okay.
When we moved to Miami to start the family, we needed the workout for ourselves. So it was a side project for me. I wasn't intended to become like a full-time thing for me. Just let me open this gym so we can have workout, and then hopefully people do it. We have a manager or something like that.
So when you first started going to CKO, correct?
Yeah.
So for you right now, it's more of like your passion is for working out, and it makes you feel like you and your wife, that you guys did something for yourselves.
Yes.
And that's where it all started.
That is correct.
Grew up in Colombia?
I grew up in Colombia, yes.
What was it like? You lived in America for how long now?
About 24 years now.
Okay, so you have a good idea of life in Colombia versus life here. Could you describe what it's like growing up in Colombia?
Actually, I was talking about yesterday with a couple of friends. In Colombia, it's about, you have to be alert about everything. It's like, growing up as a kid, everybody was bullying each other. We were just, the kind of jokes or the kind of games that we were playing was like, right now, you cannot do that. But over there, it was like something normal, like fighting. We used to fight as kids, and it was an everyday thing. And we were fighting, and then the following day we were friends. Here
it's a bit more sensitive, I think, is what you're trying to say, right? Like growing up as kids, here it's a little bit more on the sensitive side, whereas in other countries there's a little bit of an edge. but it's good. It's a healthy edge for kids, right? Like
I think also you are more alert of things. Like you're walking, like you see if somebody wanna try to
right. You're paying attention to your surroundings.
all the time. Like
Yeah.
that isn't in my DNA. I cannot just stop that.
Did you go to school in Colombia? Like
Actually, like I knew I would come to the U.S. My dad told me when I was about 11 or 10, 11 or 12 years old that okay, you would come to the U.S. We have this conversation. You come to the U.S.
he was living in Colombia.
No, he was living here, in the U.S.
Oh, your dad was living here. You were living
in Colombia
with your mom.
Yeah. So actually, my first 5 years I was in Costa Rica because my dad had he went to he's a doctor, so he had the
Oh, okay.
he went to have the heart specialization in Costa Rica. So he started working in the U.S., but we have to go to Colombia. We didn't have the paper, so he submitted the paper. It took us about 10 years.
It took you 10 years?
Yeah, when you do, yeah.
And
So
how old
I
were
think
you?
he submitted when I was 11, and I got the papers. We got the paper when I was 20 or something like that.
And so all your siblings got the papers?
Yeah, we got it at the same time.
Everybody got it at the same time. So your mom and all of you and your siblings were living in Colombia, but your dad was working Costa Rica and America, had submitted for papers, but it took 10 years.
Yeah, it took us a lot of time. Yeah. Actually, I came here when I was 14, 15 on a tourist visa. I came to the U.S. I liked it a lot, but I have to come back to wait for my papers.
So now you're growing up in Colombia. You're going to school in Colombia.
I went to school in Colombia, studied business there. I studied business and I did an MBA as well.
Okay, did you know what you wanted to be?
Yes, I wanted to work in Wall Street. Okay,
you always knew that as a kid?
Yes, I like money.
I think we all do. Okay.
Actually, yeah, I wanted to work. The whole thing about the Wall Street was so passionate that I wanted to understand. I was saying, when you are in Colombia and then you have, I remember going to MBA in finance, they talk to you about buying or selling stock, like something. Oh wow, you know, if you know about that, you know something that nobody knows. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was I was curious about that.
Okay.
But I know I wanted to somehow understand the whole concept, be involved, but also I wanted to know that I wanted to be a business owner. I have that in me. So those are the two things that I had.
So
I have a clear vision, but I didn't know how.
You knew you wanted to be on Wall Street and you were curious about it.
Yes.
Because you learned that when you know that, stocks and whatnot, success, money, like security, right? Like all that comes with it.
I have an idea about that. Okay.
I have an idea.
I have an idea. Okay. So if I know these, probably it's closer to get some kind of, to be wealthy. That's a big idea that I have.
So you were driven by wanting to be successful, financially successful,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And you also knew that you had it in you to be an entrepreneur.
I had it, yes.
21, you guys get your papers.
Yes.
You and your siblings and your mother moved to the U.S.
Yes. We arrived in New York. Yeah.
You moved to New York. Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we arrived in Brooklyn, and then we were living in a one-bedroom apartment, the 5 of us.
Wow.
Yeah, so my brother had a job in McDonald's. I had a job in Starbucks, which I love it. For me, I felt like it was the best job I had. Like at the moment, it was like, for me, I need to learn English, and they are paying me.
To learn English.
To learn English. It's like, wow, this is amazing. I love it. I love it.
That's such a great way to see that, though. So you were 21. Did you miss your friends back home? Did you miss life in Colombia, or were you just very happy to?
No, I miss it. I miss it. Yeah. When I arrived here, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna learn what I learned, and I'm gonna go back. That's what I had an idea about it. But then as soon as I found an internship in a broker in Wall Street, everything changed for me.
So you moved here and you weren't distracted by Starbucks or trying to make friends or.
I had 3 jobs, by the way. So Starbucks was one. I was I worked also for the community college that I went to study English, and I also had there was a store like a D&D or something like that I have to get all the boxes and put it together. So I had 3 jobs, and I was studying as well.
And you were still studying as well. Okay. And you get an internship now. You're not distracted by any of this. You're like, no, I'm still getting to Wall Street because that's what I want to do. Okay.
And non-paid.
The internship was unpaid.
Unpaid.
Okay, and how does that go?
I love it. So I think the first 2 weeks they told me, okay, they hired me. It's like, hey, you know what? You have an MBA. We cannot. I don't care. Like, don't forget about having an MBA. I just wanted to learn. They said, are you sure? Yeah, yeah. And then they told me that it was a 6-month thing. And then after 2 weeks, I was doing everything. Like whatever they asked me to do, I was doing it. So we say, you know what? We're gonna pay you minimum wage. At that moment was $10 an hour, and I was. They told me, oh, Fernando, we need to translate all the agreements from English to Spanish. Well, great, 42 pages, and I love the project, and then I learned about legally how everything worked, and yeah, so because they told me that if they translated to a lawyer, it was $40,000, something like that. So I thought, why don't you pay me $2,000? I do the heavy translation and just pay them to correct me $2,000 or something like that. So the owner was like, oh, wow, that's an amazing idea.
It's a good idea, yeah.
So I think something that it was supposed to cost $40,000, we did it for $4,000. And then little by little, I became like technical about how the platform works, how the trades got executed. So it wasn't just about learning how buy or sell a product. It was learning about how execution worked behind the platform, and a lot of technical things that a normal person didn't understand. I just became a little more obsessed regarding that. And then they told me, oh, you know what? There's an opportunity to become a broker. So you have to pass the Series 34 and Series 3. And then I passed it. And then little by little, I just became obsessed about selling.
Wow.
And then, my market was Latin America and Spain. So I have to start finding investors in Latin America and Spain. Okay. And that's what I did.
How long did it take you from going to an internship to a full-time paying job there?
It was a 6-month.
Oh, you did all this within 6 months?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so now you were able to quit your other 3 jobs, right?
Yeah, right away. As soon as I knew about the internship was a full-time thing. So it was Monday to Sunday. I didn't have a day off.
Okay.
And I love it. I love it.
Today, you own a very successful kickboxing gym in Miami. At what point do you realize finance might not be my forever home?
Yeah, so after working as a broker for about 4 or 5 years, I realized that, okay, yeah, so you work hard, but I was still an employee. And then I remember me trying to find, like, there was something called like IB, we call it intermediary broker. So they were passing us business and we were splitting the commission with the IB. And I had one client that was making $1 million for the firm, and I was sharing with the intermediate broker that he just passed me the relationship $500,000. So I go, wow, I should become an IB. And then during that time, there were a lot of changes in the U.S. regarding rule for brokerage, especially with the derivative trading, which was what I was doing. So it became difficult to become an IB, but I saw that as a challenge because it was more difficult because less people have the license, less people have the guarantees.
But you could be doing half the work and still be making the same amount of money.
2 times, 5 times doing that.
Because you could be passing off multiple things
and
making $500,000 off of each one as opposed to what you were doing currently.
Which I was just a salary employee, a little commission on quarterly bonuses. So for me, it was like, okay, you know what? Then I talked to my, actually, it is funny because we went on a vacation to Cancun and I almost died in that vacation because we went to the vacation. It was on a holiday. I was with my family, and then I went to the beach and started swimming.
Are you young at this point? You're not married. You're young at this point?
I am not married. I have 25, 27 years old.
So you're with your siblings and your parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my parents, just my siblings.
Just your siblings.
And friends. Okay. And then I am swimming in Cancun, and then an undercurrent, it's a rip.
A rip current?
Yeah, a rip current started like dragging me into the ocean. I couldn't get out. I thought I was dying. And that was a moment of realization. Like I saw the guy I saw my sister like yelling at everybody. Yeah, it was a very scary moment for me. And then I told in my mind, like, oh wow, how stupid I am. I'm going to Cancun and I'm going to just drone the first day on vacation. That was what happened to my mind. That's real.
I don't mean to laugh, but you're like having this moment of like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was like, wow, I'm going to die and I didn't accomplish all these things that I wanted to do. Yeah. I remember like the lifeguard just saved me. He saved me.
Oh, the lifeguard had to come. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
The lifeguard saved me. And then on Monday, I talked to my boss and said, you know what, I have to quit. Well, why? I won't have to become an IB. I have to do something. I cannot just, keep living like this. I have to either do it all or just, Fernando, that's risky. A lot of people that, you have to follow all these steps. You have to hire lawyers. You have to do this. And then, I'll do it. If I fail, that's fine. And then I did. I became an IB. I doubled my income within 6 months. I was doing amazing. And then I think one of my clients, my biggest client, did a terrible trading mistake, and I lose all my business. Well, one of my biggest trader started he made a huge mistake and he lost a lot of money. So when you lost a lot of money, all the trading commissions, they're gone. Then one of my former colleagues, he told me, Fernando, why don't you and we open a brokerage firm in London? Because in the US it was impossible. You need like a $20 million position.
It's not, the US doesn't make it very easy, right? You have all the regulations and you have to take this test.
It was the moment where are you familiar with Dodd-Frank?
Yes.
They would start they would start writing. Nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So then in London was and then our market was international market. So I didn't deal with US clients. So my former colleague told me, Fernando, we only need $1 million to open a brokerage
in London.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we do that? We go all in. You have some saving. I put some saving. And then I was like, okay, how long is it going to take us to do that? It was like, 6 months. You know what? I talked to my wife. I got married. The only downside was I couldn't work for any financial firm while we were waiting for so I was technically have to start the process and then do whatever, but I couldn't work with a financial firm. So what was supposed to be a year was 6 months was a year and a half. Yes. And then you know what happened? Something called Brexit.
Yes.
So we submitted the documentation before Brexit. Then my market was Spain. So the whole idea was if I get regulated in London, I can get all my Spanish clients and everybody else through the London office. Then Brexit happened and they were, okay, so then, you have to go to regulation in Spain. I was like, oh, you know what? For me, my clock is ticking. I already gave you all my savings. And
you haven't been working for a year and a half.
I couldn't work anything. I couldn't do anything. For the financial aspect. So I was getting offers to run a lot of firms and I have to refuse them. I couldn't.
But you're also burning through cash at this point.
A lot.
And you're married.
I was negative.
Yeah.
I was negative at this point. So then I had a moment where my partner, my former partner, I admired him because he was going through the same thing like me. And then, the uncertainty about what's going to happen. And then the lawyers were charging us, they didn't know what's going on. And they were charging us a lot of money to understand. I said, you know what, stop this. And I think there was like a Chinese firm that they needed the license. And we were about to get the license. So the Chinese gave us an offer. And then also, great, this is a great opportunity for us to get our money and get out. And then my partner was, oh, you know what, you don't believe in our dream. And then at that moment, while I was doing nothing, my wife told me, why don't we open a gym in the meantime so we don't get bored?
Oh, so this is where this idea comes from. Okay. So you're dealing with all these challenges because you're trying to go into IB, but you're trying to open a brokerage firm in London, right? Because it's going to be a little bit easier to do it there. But while you're waiting, you've got a year and a half of just, waiting, burning through cash. Then Brexit happens. And then your wife is like, why don't we just open a gym? And that's not financial. That's not in the finance industry. So you can.
Exactly.
I do have a question though.
Yes.
How did you guys get connected to the Chinese
It was through my partner in London. He lived there.
Okay, so he got a connection for these people to potentially buy you out or
Yep.
buy your portion out. Okay, so did that go through or?
No, he didn't want to sell it.
He didn't want to sell
And then
it.
and the other thing that I didn't like was I was the CEO in paper, so I have to live more than 6 months in London. And I didn't like the idea. And then the waiting game became like I was less and less passionate about the whole thing. Like, and then, the whole financial world that I was, yes, getting client, but I wasn't building meaningful relationship with people. And for me, it was like a transaction. I didn't feel that I was doing financially well, but I didn't feel that I was doing something good. I was just, okay, you know what? I am good at convincing you to give me money, and I'm good convincing them to give me money, and then hopefully, I didn't care if you make or no money. I just care about you trading to my platform.
Right.
So I didn't see the value in that. And then the more you wait, I was less passionate about that. I saw an opportunity out. My former partner, he became like, why are you opening the gym? You're losing the focus. I said, you know what? Like, I have to do something. I cannot just keep waiting. And then we have a little argument. And then he didn't want to sell it. And then he told me, like, we need $200,000. I was like, what? Yeah, because, the last thing we have to do, we need it for more paperwork. I was like, you know what? Stop it. I have no money right now. And then I knew he was in the same situation. What are you doing? He told me, I'm going to mortgage my house. So I was like, wow.
So he was willing to mortgage his house.
And then I only have some kind of money, but that was my reserve. And I decided to open the gym.
Right. So you were good with you were like, this is a good idea. I'm going to go with the gym.
I'm going to go with the gym. And then he, we had an argument. He didn't like it. And then what I told him, you know what? Let's part ways right here. So you take the whole thing, just send me half of what we have in the bank account. I take the hit, and you keep 100% of whatever you're doing. You can sell it to the Chinese if you don't want it. No, I'm gonna do whatever you want.
So did you get your $500,000 back or less?
No. I lost a lot of money there. I lost a lot of money, but I didn't care. At that moment I was like, this is somebody that was very close to me, and then the moment we started having like this kind of disrespectful conversation, I said, you know what? I think this is not going anywhere. So just send me whatever you have there, and then you keep 100%. Which, nowadays he became successful, and he deserved it because he ran the risk of losing everything. So, and then
Today he has a brokerage firm in London.
Actually he sold it, and he opened 3 more, and then he sold them. He's well off.
Okay. So he's doing okay.
And then we talk now and then, but yeah, we will still have the relationship.
Do you regret?
No, not at all, not at all. Yeah, my wife asked me, like, no, because what I see now is I had the opportunity to grow up with my son, so I didn't have to travel there.
Because you were staying in New York. You were in New York.
No, I was in Miami, already.
When did you move to Miami?
I moved to Miami in 2016. So
was it during this whole Brexit situation?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
was
in
in
the middle
Miami.
of all
I was
this,
in Miami. Yeah,
okay.
I knew whether I was doing that. The reason we moved to Miami is when I started dating my wife now.
Okay.
We had the conversation like I don't want to raise a family in New York. She told me, I was like, you know what? I don't
want to raise in New York. Okay.
So let's go to Miami. She grew up in Aventura. I liked it, Aventura, but we moved in 2015 or 16 in Brickell, which I love it. It was beautiful.
So she's originally from Miami area,
She's
from
from
Aventura.
Aventura, yeah.
So that's why you guys naturally came this way. But 2015, that's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
There was no Brickell.
There was no Brickell City Center. Mm-hmm. But Brickell was Brickell, but not as
Not
as
what
you
it is
know
today.
now Brickell. Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, I knew there was a potential because comparing to New York, we were living here and every building was luxury building, and the quality was really good, the quality of life, and I saw the potential in that. So while living in Miami, I saw the potential for the gym. Then what I did was also, I became an area developer of the brand. So I knew that if I opened the first CKO, other CKO will open. So I talked to the owner of the franchise, you know what, I'm gonna open the first one, but I need you to give me the South Florida area. And that's what I signed. So I got a exclusivity right to open all the CKOs in South Florida area.
Was CKO already a franchise in New York or just one location?
At the time, it was about 40 locations, but all of them within New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So that tri-state
You were
area.
the first one. It was your wife and your idea to bring it to Florida.
A lot of people had the idea, but nobody have done it.
To execute on the idea.
To execute on the even the owner told me, Fernando, I spoke to the owner, I tried to, but why haven't you done it? You know, real estate, you have to know how to run a CKO. And then he had a location in Orlando already, but wasn't doing good. So he told me, look, but South Florida, if you want the whole territory, you have to commit to do X, Y, Z. Or say, you know what, I'll do it. And that's why now I had a new obsession.
So you cut your losses with your finance industry and what you guys were trying to do in London. Your wife has this idea, you say, I'm all in, and that you pursue this in Miami, in the Brickell area?
Yes.
And why did you pick Brickell over any other location? Like, why not Aventura? Why not Gables?
I just saw the potential in Brickell.
Okay.
I knew that it would grow. I knew that.
Was it like a mini, almost like this could be the future of New York? Because that's how I see Brickell right now.
No. At that moment, yes. And I had a couple of friends also that they moved from New York to
the Brickell area. Okay.
To Brickell area, and they were talking, hey, you know what, this is amazing. Why people are not moving? More people are moving here. I don't know, but then a bagel place opened. They were from New York as well.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of New Yorkers.
You see things popping up in Brickell. What year did you guys open the gym?
2016.
16, okay. So 9 years now?
Yeah. 8.5 years.
Why CKO though? Like, why this kickboxing gym?
It was our gym. So
That's the gym you used to go to in New York.
We were the gym so we became passionate about the brand. We became passionate. And also the reason why I knew it was a good business concept is when we were going to the gym in Brooklyn, they were run by two 19-year-old guys. They didn't run classes in the morning. When I asked the guy, I was like, look, why do you run classes in the morning? So, you know what? I don't like waking up in the morning. So I was like, wow, this guy, he doesn't wake up in the morning. Yeah. And he only lives out of 3 classes that he teaches at night. And he's making a living. So this must be...
In New York, of all places, right?
This must be really a good business. And then he just opened it and then teach classes. So I think I was right. So the concept needed a little bit of management, putting like classes for people that work and want to come at 6 in the morning, 7 a.m., 9:30. And what I like about the business concept is you need a very low overhead. You need one coach and one front desk. Mm-hmm. And location was the key aspect of that. So it took me about 10 months to find the location. So I went to Wynwood, downtown, Edgewater. I looked into a lot of places, and yeah, so that's why.
Still, you felt Brickell was the one.
Yeah, I knew that this was a real estate transaction because, you can have a great idea, a great business, but if you don't have a great location, it will not work. And then I knew that I have to take the time to go over that, and I didn't have the pressure of opening like all these brands that they open. And I have seen them in 8 years. A lot of brands they have open and go in Brickell.
I think it's very hard to sustain a gym in Miami for more than a few years. I mean, it's rare to find a gym that's been open for, at least 7, 8 years. 10 is like amazing.
I think there is no gym in Brickell that has been for that long.
Why do you think that is?
Real estate.
Is it because real estate's too expensive in Miami? Which we all know it is. Yeah. And then I think in the beginning, a lot of people, they try to rent, they try to scope things out. I think you're right, because I do see some friends who are business owners in Miami, very talented people, and they're not in the greatest locations, and I think that's like a very big, in different industries, not gyms. But then you also wonder, like, how is Miami going to further itself and grow? Is there something that Miami can be doing, or something that a business owner can be doing in order to set themselves up for success the way you did? Like, what did you do to be in business for this long?
In the gym wise, I was very conservative regarding the cost. Okay, so
even from the beginning.
Even when I know I was doing very well, I was saving money because there are cycles in this business, okay? So you know that there are good times and bad times. And you just have to have enough cash flow for the bad times, because when bad times come, you're ready. And then I was always very aggressive in marketing.
Okay.
Very aggressive. So all my competitors thought that I was, always investing a lot of money, more than I was, because I was very strategic in marketing. I want to make a lot of noise, and I did a lot of noise. And then I always do a lot of noise.
Still.
Yeah, I never stop. So I have in the zip codes that I am in the area, I'm always doing something different.
Let's talk about kickbox. It's a kickboxing gym, right? People have, I'll use myself as an example. So I told you before we were recording that I'm into boxing.
Yes.
And I did try kickboxing a few times with my trainer. It just wasn't for me because I just can't kick that high, right? It's you learn it, right? For someone like me, how would I do in your gym?
I'm gonna tell you this, okay? So we are a welcoming gym, okay? Some people like the one-on-one experience. They want to be perfectionists in everything that they do. So before somebody comes to my gym, I always like to ask them what they are looking for. He said, Fernando, I am new to this, but I really want to learn how to kick high, low. I want to know how to do a knee kick. I don't want to put you in a group class, because the group class is fast. It's about motivation. It's about, and probably you are not looking for motivation. Probably you want to become somebody that when he's punching and kicking, looks like a badass, right? So if I identify you in the conversation, what I have access to about 15 different coaches of the best ones in Miami. And then I'm gonna ask you, okay, so tell me a little bit about when do you wanna do this? Oh, Fernando, 2 times a week. Tell me a little bit about personality. Personal training is like you going to, I don't know, the hair salon, right? You go to a person that you like because the way they treat your hair, how professional or non-professional they are, how welcoming or not. Personal training is somebody like that. So I need to find what kind of person you want. You want somebody very technical. You want somebody that you just a nice personality, and you have like a meaningful conversation with that. No, Fernando, we want to with somebody technical, and that's it. Okay, so I partner you up with somebody technical that you, oh wow, Fernando, I really like that. And some people, they just do, in my gym, they do a one-on-one with coaches, and they do 1 or 2 classes a week, group classes, because they want to have their cardio. So for cardio, a lot of people don't like cardio.
No. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So we make cardio fun. We make cardio that you come, you don't think that you're doing cardio. You just think, okay, I'm just following the instructions from the coach, having fun, you sweat, the group motivate people. And yeah, one of the things also that is different between our gym and a traditional gym, we don't have mirrors in the gym.
Tell me more.
So normally you go to the gym, or a lot of people go to the gym, they start like looking themselves in the mirror, looking, and you know what, that's what some, mirrors are for, right? When you come to my gym, you work out, and that's it. You don't think about something else. You focus on the back, you don't look something else, and you focus on in the class, in the moment, in the experience. All the coaches are great people, and then you just focus into the moment. I feel like right now everybody's still looking into their phone, their mirror, and over there in the gym, believe me or not, it has an effect. And people, they realize, hey, Fernando, there are no mirrors around here, and that is why.
That is such a great point. I agree with you. Go to the gym, go anywhere, especially if you're at the gym by yourself, right? Like if I'm not one-on-one with a trainer, and I'm like in between sets or in between reps, dude, I'm like picking this thing up. And now that me time is not me time anymore, right? Like I'm scrolling or doing something or emailing, and that distraction in your brain actually is rewiring us to be kind of like, on edge and agitated all day. Whereas it's great, because if you don't have mirrors in there and you're in a group class, because you can't pick up your phone, right? You don't have time to do anything but be there in that moment and think about nothing else but what you're doing in that moment, which is a luxury, I think, in today's time that we don't afford ourselves. But it's very important. I'm sure people walk out of there feeling very refreshed and ready, because I feel like that when I go to Pilates, right? I have to leave all my stuff. You can't take that with you, right? And it's like, I have 50 minutes and I'm not thinking about anything but breathing correctly and in the moment.
And also in the reformer, right? So they change.
Yeah.
How do you call it? Change
The weight thing,
the weights,
the resistance.
the resistance, and
Yeah.
then you have to focus into things like that.
Yeah.
So it's simple, but it's very profound.
It is simple, and you're absolutely right. It changes my whole day. That just that, like, those 50 any class, anything in life that I think can hold your attention that long, and we have to be able to have the discipline to do that, I think, can literally change your life. Your mental, physical, emotional well-being for the rest of the day is different. And obviously I think you know what I'm talking about. But that's incredible. And the gym too, people taking selfies and, you know, before work.
And then, you know, the other things, I remember before putting this, people told me it was a bad idea to open a CKO in Brickell because every single building in Brickell has a great gym, right?
Yeah.
So they got, every luxury building in Brickell have a great gym, but they are empty. Or those moments where there is a lot of people who want to go, you want to go and all the equipment is taken, right? So it's actually not efficient. And that's why, like, I think we have some kind of solution for people that they need 1 hour. They don't want to think. They just want to do. So we offer that solution for the people who are busy, who don't want to, the guesswork. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Just come, clean environment, professionally, welcoming. You come, sweat, and go. That's it.
You help people be present. You help people get into shape. People who don't like cardio get to do cardio. You took away all the mirrors, so there's no distractions there, and you're not focused on what you look like. And there's a little thing there too. I think, like you mentioned this before we started recording, that most people don't want to work out or don't know how to work out or where to start. You know, it's kind of scary for some people, and I think some of us don't think about that. Some of us don't understand that in other people, but the fact that you do, and you kind of created an environment for, like, no matter who you are and what you've done or not done, like, everyone's welcome here, but you're going to leave here a better person, I believe is like what you've built with CKO. Now, do you just have that one location in Miami?
No, actually, no. The once we start the first one, then I knew that it would grow organically. So then we start opening locations. My own members.
Your own members
started opening different locations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So through franchise.
Okay.
So basically, a lot of people that they were with me for 1 year and a half, 2 years, say, Fernando, I like what you're doing. I am tired of my job. Can I do this? Yeah, of course. So that's how we open, the Hollywood location, Doral location. Right now, we have 5 locations.
5 locations around South Florida.
Yes.
Do you have a goal in mind of how many you want?
I think we're going to have about 15 locations.
What were some of your biggest challenges that you faced when you were opening the gym? Like, how did you get people in the door?
I think every day has been a challenge since I opened the gym. Every day. There's no day that I say, okay, this is a day that
it's a good day.
No, but for me, the challenges, I see them as a way of life. So everything that happened, and I'm ready. I think I'm equipped for whatever happened. After COVID.
How did you deal with COVID with the gym? You were in business for how long at this point? 3 or 4 years now?
COVID is 2021 or 2020?
2020.
2020, right? So yeah, so I have 4 years. Yeah,
4 years.
Business. I think I was in my best year right before COVID.
Okay, so you were like, this is working.
Yeah, this is working.
Okay.
When COVID happened, I got really scared, really, really scared. But then I have a great mentor who told me, Fernando, don't worry. A lot of people are gonna get scared. Mm-hmm. Just keep the cash flow safe. Don't pay anything until we have clarity of things. Oh yeah, but this guy is gonna sue me. This guy is gonna... Don't worry. The courts are closed. They cannot sue you. They have to negotiate with you. So I think that was a pivotal moment for me. And I tried to help a lot of business owners that they were in the same situation, but they just started like running out of cash. And when you don't have cash, you don't have control. So for me it was, okay, so let me just keep it. A lot of people were telling me, Fernando, we need this. Okay, wait, I'm gonna pay you.
How did you tangibly, realistically, how did you keep the cash flow going? What actions did you have to take? What did you have to cut? What did you have to do?
Okay, so everything I stopped it. I stopped all the expenses I stop it. Okay. Nobody's getting paid until I can open the gym.
Okay.
Because nobody knew, like, for example, let's say you have to pay rent, right? But if I cannot open, how can I pay rent? And then the landlord at the time was like, yeah, but the bank is asking me for money. I'm sorry, but the country is telling me I cannot open. And then, yeah, but you need to send me money. I don't have to until I can operate. And then, like, I know that most people that close they pay when they were closed.
So you were able to not pay. Well, you'd made the decision to not pay rent.
No, I didn't tell them that I don't gonna pay. I'm gonna pay you.
But not right now.
But I need clarity of when I'm gonna open.
But you were saying, because I can't open, the country is telling me I can't open my business. So if I can't open my business, how can I pay you?
Exactly. But then, and I know like a lot of people were afraid.
I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. I would pay the rent because I would be scared. You're right, that the landlord would
kick you out.
Yeah, or sue me, whatever. Yeah.
But then you say, okay, good. But then I have a mentor that
he said, don't.
You know what? Negotiate like this. So I negotiated, and then I know he was desperate for money. But then, and I think that's something that my lawyer was a great person that told me, okay, you know what? I know he needs the money. I know you want to help him with the money, but let's renegotiate the lease.
Oh.
Because you have 5 years left in the lease. Why don't we renegotiate for 10 more years at a price, COVID price, which nobody want to rent anything because the world is ending. And then you can give him this, but let's do this. You're going to pay rent in proportion of what the government is telling you to open. If you can operate at 50% of capacity, you pay 50% of the rent. If they let you operate at 75%, you pay 20%. When they let you operate at 100%, you pay 100%. And I think that's fair. So he tried to send me a law. We were, it's a very cordial relationship from the moment. Like,
between you and the landlord?
Okay. Until that happened. And then he tried to sue me with a lawyer. But then, I got really scared. My mentor told me, don't worry. A lot of people want to try to get through. Have a conversation with him as a business owner. Tell them these are the conditions. And tell them that if he wants the place, you just give him the keys and try to sue you. All the courts are closed. And probably in 3 years, he might see some money.
Yeah.
Or just talk to him about this deal, which you're going to renegotiate for 10 more years, and you're going to do this, and then that's it. And then he needs, I don't know, whatever money, you send him that money. But he has to sign this.
That's pretty brilliant because landlords were in a pinch too.
Exactly.
If you did leave, then he'd be getting nothing. He'd have an empty building paying taxes on it.
Exactly.
We still owed tax, right? The bank still was owed money. He was in that position, not you. And so it's like, yeah, I'm still trying to make this work with you. Work with me, that's actually pretty genius. That's actually really...
And I think that it saved my business.
Yeah. Probably saved him too in some ways.
Of course.
Because it would have been zero otherwise.
Exactly. And so I think it was a win-win situation. He didn't see it
at the time, yeah.
And then he didn't see it as well because, keep in mind, I got a great deal for 10 years. Mm-hmm. So then it was about just being strong enough to negotiate and, know that what you are doing, it was good. Mm-hmm. And then I think we all win in that situation.
Pivoting and adapting. And so this helped you keep your cash flow.
Of course, yes. And then it kept me like, okay, now let's say like, remember COVID was 50% capacity or 4 feet wide, something like that.
Or something,
No, it was 4 feet apart.
Okay.
That was so then for me, my boxing bag are 8 feet away. So the only thing that I have to do is get one bag out of the way. Okay. And that was my whole transformation of the whole gym. So instead of having 45 bags, I became a 20 bag, 8 feet away from each other. Oh, it was 6 feet away. Yeah, it was 6 then, but then I have 8 feet away from each other. So it was more than actually. So people were safer. So they felt like, oh, wow, I am not that close to each other. Right. So I was able to operate 50%. And then I became basically at some point the only gym in Brickell that was operating. Wow. Yeah, because I have the capacity to do it. And then, but before that, I became online. Actually, That's how I find my great members. The moment I close the gym, I stop charging everybody. I stop charging so if I am not paying, I cannot get the income as well, right? So it wasn't fair also. So but I knew there were a lot of great people because I got phone calls from members saying, Fernando, how is this person doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? I don't know, but you know what? Keep charging me.
Oh, wow.
Are you sure? Yes. So I got about 35 calls from members telling me, Fernando, keep charging me. You need to survive this. Wow. And I was like, oh, wow, are you sure? Yes. So this, so in, so I told okay, you know what? I am so grateful to you. You are home. Let me open I'm gonna come and teach classes. So let's connect to Zoom. And then I create an online classes for people. So I already have with 35 people, I was just paying whatever coaches. I have enough money to pay coaches.
You were the coach now.
I was teaching classes, but I have also my people that I didn't want to leave. I remember the PPP loan, things like that.
Yeah.
I felt that was meant for me because the 2 months that I was closed, that was the 2 months that I needed for payroll. So everybody got paid.
Okay.
And I didn't have to I used my cash flow, but it came back to me.
It came back to you, yeah.
So it was a perfect program. I told God designed it to me. Yeah. Because it was this is what I needed, no more, no less. Yeah. This is what I needed, and this is what they gave me.
That helped a lot of people, actually. And you're right. It did help. I'm sure.
It was fast. Yeah. It was fast. You apply, and then I think in 10 days you got all the money or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so the rent, you had to let some of the coaches go. You became the coach. You tried not to charge people, but some people called you and said, keep charging me. This is how you survived COVID. But this is also a bit of how you've kept your business running for this long. Cash flow is your secret.
Yes.
What is it about the culture of CKO, of your gym, and the way you approach fitness that sets you apart from other kickboxing or boxing gyms?
I think there are two answers for the question. So from other kickboxing or boxing gym is we don't target to the fighters or the fighting community. Okay. Most of the fighters, I think there are amazing gyms in Miami that they can go to learn how to become professional fighters. That's not CKO. CKO targets to 99% of the people who don't want to be fighters. People who are busy, they have their own life, and they just want to have the benefit of the workout, but they don't want to get hit or punched in their faces. Yeah. Got it. So a lot of, I have all walks of life in the gym. I have CEOs, and I have a waitress, I have lawyers, I have doctors, I have moms, I have everyone. And the good thing is they don't know who they are. They come here, there's no ego in the gym. You working out with somebody might be worth $5 million. You might be working with somebody in debt, and you don't care. There are people who are there just for the fun of it. Or there is a lot of people that they are afraid of going to the gym. They don't know what to do. They feel like, at least over here, I sweat, I have fun. I don't have to be shy because there's no mirrors. And I create a welcoming environment.
Can you share an example of how CKO has impacted a member or members beyond fitness in a positive way?
I think, there's hundreds of stories. You can Google CKO. I don't think there is a gym that have over 400 plus reviews and haven't paid a single penny to all the reviews. All those reviews are
authentic and
real. So,
what is one story that touched you, though?
Okay, so there's a story of a lawyer, actually. He came, I told him, why are you coming here? He looked in good shape, and then he told me, I have a problem in my right eye. There's a pressure in my eye that I think is pointing something. And the doctor told me to come to kickboxing. So that's okay, so that's fun. I became like, are you sure? Yeah. Okay, you want to do 3 months just to try it? Yeah, the doctor told me to do 3 months. And then I have to go and check him. Okay, good. He brought his wife, this is what happened. Somebody come to CKO, I know his partner or her partner or somebody come with that person, then the relative, they come. When I sign one person, 4 are coming. These are my numbers. Word of mouth is key for me. this person, after 3 months, he went back to the doctor. He told me, Fernando, I'm clear. So the pressure in his eye just became like a normal
From kickboxing.
from kickboxing. And then he actually he stayed with us for about 2 years. And this is what happened in Brickell. It's they once they start a family, they move out of Brickell.
Yeah.
Then in Brickell, I met everybody that come to Miami. They know us, and that's why now that we have different locations, some of them I'm gonna move to Kendall. Great, we have a location there. I moved to Raleigh. Great, we have a location there. I am moving to this place. Hollywood. We have a gym in Hollywood. So we keep them in the family.
That's amazing. Looking back, what is your biggest lesson you've learned from building CKO?
I think I learn every day. So it's like a constant learning. Like sometimes you have days that are not the best days, and you feel like, oh wow, this is hard, right? You're working, you got members, and then all of a sudden, your cost of doing business goes high, and then, for example, for me, I know I can raise prices every time, but I really, and I know there are people they don't care if I raise $50 or $20 maybe, but I do care for the people that they cannot afford this, and they sacrifice to come here, and they see the value, and then sometimes they make an effort to make it, and those are the people that I really, I care a lot.
Lean towards them, yeah.
Because I know if I raise the prices like a lot of people they do, yes, still gonna make money, but I really I'm gonna help as many people as I can. So if I can afford to keep my margin on a way that I can be well off, but not just make money, I'm happy with that.
Do you feel as though your finance background has helped you immensely
Yes.
as a business owner?
Yes.
Because a lot of gym owners don't have that background, don't have that training or education in finance as you do. But I feel like it's benefited you tremendously.
Yes.
For sure.
And then also I think you mentioned something about how do I cope with that is the days that I'm down, I always get a text message or get a review from somebody out of the blue telling, hey, Fernando, for example, 2 weeks ago, I have a down day, something happened, I think, I don't know, I don't remember what happened right down. And then I got this beautiful text from this, she's about 24 years old. She's dealing with overweight. And then she told me, Fernando, I've been in the hospitality industry for about 5 years. And I have to tell you that your place is amazing. Like this coach, this front desk told me this. I was afraid. I moved from Dallas to Miami, and now I feel like I have a home by going to the gym. This is my 10th class, and I see myself being here for so many years. So that for me was like,
Fulfilling.
It is so fulfilling. And I knew I couldn't get that by going into the finance world. And sometimes this is what I fit myself of. You know what? I think I'm doing something that is changing somebody else's life. And then that sometimes the bad days, so I say, you know what? I think I'm doing something good. And then I know one day come, and then one challenge come, something breaks. You know what? We fix it.
Yeah, the good outweighs the challenge that you have is outweighed by all the good that you feel you're doing for people. And then when they express that, it's like makes it all worthwhile for you. Whereas you mentioned in finance, there was a moment of where like it was very transactional. There weren't meaningful, deep relationships for you. I could answer this question for you now after talking to you, but I want to hear it from you. Is what your definition of success has evolved over the years? If you can go back to the Fernando in finance and I want to be on Wall Street because it's money, and your definition of success from then to now.
I think I've changed.
It's
I've
changed.
changed. Yeah, I think I have friends that they are well off. When I say like they financially they are really, really stable, but probably they are not in the best shape of their life, and they are dealing with some different challenges. I do believe that I have a great balance, and I'm always in pursuit of that, what you might call success, which is trying to be better. Like I have 3 kids now. I have a beautiful family. My challenge is to become a great dad. My challenge is to become a great husband. My challenge is to become a great business owner that can inspire other people to learn 1 or 2 things from me, and then they are better. And I think every day it's a lifestyle. You think, okay, you know what? There's no challenge that you can face that's gonna break me. If something comes, it's just gonna make me better. So it better come quicker because I'm gonna.
You're gonna knock them all out.
Yeah.
What is next for you and CKO? Like, how do you see this brand evolving over the next 5 years?
You know, like that's always a question that I have. I talk to the one who created the brand a lot. Like, you know, he's been doing this for 25 years. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe we have to evolve, and I think we are evolving. We are implementing TRX.
If you could explain what TRX is.
So TRX are suspension bands that you use to use your own body weight.
Okay.
And it helps you to become more functional. It helps you with balance. And I do believe more people need that, the balance. So it's easy to use. Not everybody can afford to have a Pilates machine, right? Or going to Pilates right now, sometimes it's impossible. My wife tell me that, you know, to get a class, you have to book like a 1 week in advance or something like that.
1, it's very expensive, and 2, it's extremely, the classes fill up so fast. Like, it's a full-time job just trying to get into class. Let me put it that way.
That's why my wife is telling me, like, you have to be like, okay, so now that you're going to open up for next week, boom, then you have to save it. And then there's a lot of restrictions. You have to cancel like a day before or 12 hours before or something like that. But I want to offer a solution for those people who don't want the punching in the back, but they want to have the stretch and they want to have a workout with their own body. TRX moved their headquarters from California to Delray Beach here in Florida.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, all so right. You can go to their facilities, beautiful facilities. I've been taking a few classes over there.
Wow.
And by me knowing them, I've been in conversation with them. We create a TRX CKO classes. We have been talking for a year to create a professional courses and classes that they are TRX sponsor. So they gave us all the workout, they train our coaches, and I think that's how we're gonna become, we're gonna evolve. It's not we're gonna change, we're just gonna evolve.
What advice would you give someone who's considering opening up a gym?
It's hard to open your own gym if you create a brand from zero. For example, if you say, oh, Fernando, you know about boxing, I know about business, and I am a lawyer, let's create Nina Fernando boxing or kickboxing, I don't think that's gonna be the route, because you will not have the scalability that, you know, some brands they have. And then you have to think about so many factors. It's better to go to a franchise that is established and you just have to run it, okay? So for example, like when you start and you are on your own brand, believe me, like I get sued like 3 or 4 times a year. And then I have a great insurance because we negotiate for, you know, over 100 locations that we have. And so for me, I have an scalability that somebody sue me, okay, I know. So, you know, do this and then, you know what, my day goes on.
Yeah.
If I have my own brand, they're gonna go after me.
It would sink everything, I think, and it becomes a little bit more stressful. There is something to be said of having a big brand or a big company behind you. You know, I agree with that. They have the marketing down. They have things.
Exactly.
They have things figured out already.
Exactly.
For you that you don't have to deal with. You're right. You just have to run them. Just to get a little personal now, just some fun questions for you. Your journey. You have a family. You have kids. You have a wife, and everything. What do you do though for yourself? Like, what is that one thing that you turn to where this is Fernando's time? I fill my own cup up by doing this, and it gives me joy.
Taking a class.
Taking a class. So
yeah.
it's been the same as it was 10, 20 years ago.
It's a luxury, but I still do it. Sometimes I have, 50 emails I have to get back to, but I do make a time to take a class. And when I take a class,
you're in there.
I like, you know what? This is why I do this. And then I am sweaty, and then and something happened when you work out and you are
Oh,
behind
100%.
emails, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you work out and then go back to the emails they seem like this problem, and then after the workout, it's like, you know what? I just have to reply to the emails.
I was literally just telling my husband this. I was like, because I only go to Pilates every other day, right? I wish I could go every day, but I'm too sore, right? And I'm like, the days I go, whatever problem I went to sleep with, I wake up in the morning so excited to go to class. And by the time I get into my car to come home, that problem is gone. What is that? Oh, yeah, okay. Like, I fixed it in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? It just like minimizes all the stress. And I don't know what it is. Like, maybe our hormones are pumping through us. I don't know what's happening, but you're absolutely right. You come back to life with a different perspective than as you would have of just like sitting there kind of just. And I think that's very important for people maybe who don't work out, and I hope who are listening, like, move.
Yes.
Move your body every single day. And I think like 50% of your problems could disappear. Like your perspective gets changed, I think. Because I think psychologically you just did something very hard. So now what's this? I can do this. I can fix this. Oh, my kid's crying. Whatever. It's okay. You know, like everything, you're right. Everything gets a little bit easier and doable at that point. If someone told you that you can't do CKO anymore, you can't have this gym anymore, you can't go back to finance, what would you do?
I think during COVID, I understand that, you know, real estate is there's a lot of opportunities in real estate right now, also in taxes. So I became obsessed with taxes as well, and how you can mitigate some of the profits if you know very well the tax system. So I think I would do something related to real estate and taxes, which there's a lot of opportunities over there. I don't think we have the education as business owners of how we can understand better the tax code, and I became, like, for example, I do my taxes very well. I have January 1st, my books are done. My accountant, he knows I'm the first client. I can file the first day that we have to file, I file it, and I'm really like, I'm passionate about that. Understanding how I can get a tax benefit is something that I liked a lot, and then that's something that I see there's a lot of opportunities to teach people how to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, actually. And personally, like, I've learned the hard way as well. I think you're right. Entrepreneurs and self-employed business people, we're not equipped with knowing all those things. And quite frankly, and I don't mean this in a negative manner at all or trying to upset our accountants, but I also don't think that every accountant is equipped to and that's kind of scary in a way, that we hire these people to do our taxes and things, but there are so many other loopholes. And they always say, like, a very successful businessman either knows the tax code and how to figure it out, or has a team of very, very strong,
this is what happened is, you know, you cannot ask an accountant who just understand how to categorize expenses and income to learn about a code, a tax code. So they don't know about that. And then a lot of business owners, they just meet with the accountant when they have to file taxes.
Yep.
And this is not something that can happen after the fact. It has to happen before the fact. And you have to have the right LLC or, you know, whatever partnership structure. If you're investing into a real estate, you have to know how to set up certain accounts certain ways. You have to know if you're gonna use home as an office or not, how to know the rules.
Yep.
And you know, it's very easy. I have called the IRS whenever I have a question, like, you know
really?
what? Yes, of course. I call the IRS, say, you know what? I don't understand it. This is this or this is that. Oh, you know what? That's a good question. This is on, can you send me some proof of, you know, what I'm doing? And they send it to you. It's just people are afraid of calling the IRS.
Yeah.
But you know what? They have a lot of resources. And, you know, I know my accountant will not do that. So I have read a lot of books about it. And then I just give the accountant, you know what? I'm going to do this way. And they told me, Fernando, are you sure? Yes, because of this. Oh, Fernando, yeah. Okay, good. Let's do it this way. And that's it. And I just find that there is a lot of opportunities right there. And then when I talk to friends that they have W-2s, they have no clue about it. Because when you have a W-2, there's nothing you can do. And when I talk to other business owners, they have no clue either. So I think I think obsessed with, you know, online forums when they talk about this, and then I just have to find friends online to talk about this. But I think there's a lot of opportunities there.
Real estate and tax. Phenomenal. That's actually really good. What was the happiest, most memorable moment of your life that you think about it, it puts a smile on your face or brings you happy tears?
I think my kids, whenever I go to vacation with them, I value the time that I have with them. The weekends for me are for my family. The weekend I try to avoid doing things business related.
So you're strong on the value of being a very present father.
Like for example, I take my son every day to soccer practice. And I know it's a luxury, and I value it. And you know what, like I have the opportunity to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours with my son. I saw him playing. I saw him like I do, when I have my son doing private session with a coach that was played professional for Brazil team. I was like, oh, wow, so I can afford to do this with my son. So I was like, you know what, I feel proud of doing this. And I know if I were working, but for me that's valuable. For me that's success. For me it's like I feel like, oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, being an entrepreneur is a part of your success, and it is because it also affords you time with your family, right? Thank you so much, Fernando, for joining us today.
Thank you.
This was so incredible. Loved speaking with you. Before you leave, where can our audience connect with you?
So CKO has Instagram is CKO Miami. Okay. On Instagram, we have CKO Kendall. Every location has its own little personality. And if you want to go to CKO, I highly recommend try a class. You will not regret it.
I'm going to try a class, just so you know.
Oh,
I'm going to, yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
You sold me on it.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm going to get my husband to go.
We'll do it together.
We'll do it together.
Awesome.
I'm interested.
Awesome. Good.
I'm definitely.
And that's it. Yeah, I don't have personal social media or something like that.
So CKO is the way.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.